Go inside the Crimson Tide with your hosts Rodney Orr and Gary Harris, keeping you informed on everything Alabama. And now, Tider Insider TV.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Tider Insider TV, presented each and every week by Buffalo Rock. Alongside Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com, I'm WVOA 23 Sports Director Gary Harris. Tonight we've got Diet Pepsi, one of my favorites, hopefully one of yours. Just want to listen to that because it reminds me of just about what I'm about to do. I listen to it, then I do it for real. Remember to pick up a great Pepsi product the next time you're at your local grocery store. Well, Rodney, we have got a lot to get to on this show. We'll look back at the Arkansas game. We'll look ahead to Texas A&M, of course. We'll have our predictions. But first, we're going to start with some video that has gone viral this week. It was released earlier during on Monday on Twitter. It's from the Arkansas sideline during Cam Robinson's unsportsmanlike penalty. It shows Arkansas head coach Brett Bielema approaching Robinson, who was jawing with Arkansas's defensive lineman. And Bielema walked next to Robinson and appeared to fall backwards as if he were shoved by the Alabama left tackle. The linesman reached for his flag only after Bielema stumbled, though the video did not show any contact from Robinson. Bielema celebrated after the flag was tossed. As a result of the flag and the interception, Arkansas started at the 12-yard line and would score the game's first touchdown to lead 7-3. Now, Rodney, as you might imagine, I had a lot of calls on my radio show this week about this. And knowing Alabama fans, the video was sent to the SEC office. And today, Brett Bielema had a talking to by SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey. Basically Sankey released a statement saying that he reviewed the video. He talked to Brett Bielema about sportsmanship, but did say that the penalty had nothing to do with anything that happened with Brett Bielema, and said that there was no contact made and there was no intent from Bielema to have a confrontation with Cam Robinson. Now, he did say, talking about Sankey, that he has talked to Brett about, being a good sport, as coaches are supposed to do, but he said that they're moving on in a positive manner, so this is a dead issue. About what I expected from the SEC office, and in fairness, I know Alabama fans are upset. Did seem to be a little bit of grandstanding there, but at the end of the day, it was a bad play by Jake Coker to throw an interception, not a good move by Cam Robinson to get involved in a situation like that where he gets an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. At the end of the day, Alabama won the football game.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think it's a minor issue, really. I think Bielema was out of line, obviously. He put on a good act there. But at the same time, again, I think it's a minor issue. Probably should be dropped. All
right, and with that in mind, let's move on to the game. As we take a look back, Rodney, this was an interesting game. One of those where you sat in the press box kind of saying, oh, no, this is one of those games again. First half, Alabama's defense was dominant. They held Arkansas to 77 total yards. The offense moved it up and down the field for better than 200 yards, but errors, mistakes again. They had to settle for a field goal the first time in the red zone. They missed a field goal the second time. The interception by Coker that led to Arkansas's only touchdown right before half. Griffith missed another field goal. So here's Alabama dominating the game, but behind on the scoreboard at halftime, Rodney, 7-3, and you're saying to yourself, what's up?
Yeah, it was really frustrating, Gary. You saw the offense. They certainly could not get in sync, and, they made some mistakes. Coker had a difficult time. A couple of, interceptions that he had certainly were big plays in the game. That one right there, and then, of course, the personal foul that was tacked on after that led to Arkansas's touchdown. Alabama just offensively could not get it going. Defensively, they were absolutely fabulous throughout the game. You're talking about holding Alex Collins, the Arkansas running back who had ran for 150 yards, three games in a row, 3 consecutive games. He only had 22 yards. Alabama held Arkansas, maybe the most potent rushing attack in the SEC, certainly one of the top 3. They held them to 44 total yards rushing. I think that's absolutely an incredible stat.
For a while, you're thinking, oh, no, this is going to be a replay of the Ole Miss game. But unlike Ole Miss, Alabama, while having some early turnovers, limited those turnovers in the second half. And even though the third quarter was kind of played at a stalemate, toward the end of that quarter, you saw the bomb from Coker to Ridley. And Alabama flexed its muscles and really in the fourth quarter kind of pulled away. This was a 27-7 game when Arkansas got, kind of a busted play touchdown there late. So Alabama, as I said, flexed its muscles, Rodney, and in some ways, I guess it was good that they were challenged because they had a chance to answer the bell, and unlike Ole Miss, this time they did.
Yeah, they did. The play from Coker to Ridley certainly was a huge play. Gary gave Alabama a lot of momentum from that point forward. Alabama pretty much, dominated the game. They scored, most of their points after that. That put them up 10-3. They dominated the fourth quarter 17-7 in terms of scoring. So, I think they won the game about like what we expected.
And it's a good win for Alabama. It keeps the Tide with all its goals still in front of it for the SEC and for the National College Football Playoff. But to get to where Alabama wants to go, they're going to have to take care of some business this week in College Station, Texas, against another top 10 team, Texas A&M. Now, later on in the program, we are going to preview that game, but right now it's time to hear from the two head coaches, Nick Saban and Kevin Sumlin, in our Coach Speak segment, brought to you each week by MedCenter.
You know, obviously the game coming up is, our primary focus right now against a very good team. Texas A&M is ranked in the top 10 and they're undefeated, and Kevin Sumlin has done a very, very good job there. His record, certainly indicates that, and they beat some really good opponents and are playing much, much better on defense, and I think John Chavis has done a really good job there. They're not giving up as many points. They're a lot tougher. They're sounder in what they're doing.
They're a very, very talented team across the board, and they're very well coached. And you combine that with the tradition that they've had, and they do have, it's very appealing. I don't know that there's the word influence is what you're looking for. So they're all over the place, and it's just like us to be involved in a game like this. For being here in our league for 3.5 years in the SEC, and to have a game like this that has division, has conference and national implications is a great thing for Texas A&M.
The two head coaches, our MedCenter Coach Speak segment. Well, still to come here on TITV tonight. We'll discuss in depth this Alabama matchup against Texas A&M. Last year, the Tide humbled the Aggies 59-0, but you can bet that'll have nothing to do with what happens on Saturday afternoon at Kyle Field. And also, we'll be welcoming your phone calls, emails, and tweets. You see the information on the screen right there, how to interact with us on Tider Insider TV right now. Go ahead and give us a call, 205-348-WVUA. That's 348-9882. You can email us at the address on the screen, or you can reach us on Twitter using the hashtag TITV. We'll be right back with the only show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide. Tider Insider TV will return right after this. Alabama senior linebacker Reggie Ragland is a really good player that's played one of his best games against Arkansas. That is a combination that gives you your SEC Defensive Player of the Week. Ragland had a team-high 8 tackles, a sack, a pass breakup, a forced fumble, and 2 quarterback hurries during the Tide's 27-14 win over the Razorbacks on Saturday night. Ragland led Alabama that had a great defensive effort, limiting the Hogs 220 total yards. 54 of those came on a scramble and touchdown pass by Brandon Allen in the game's final minute. Well, it's time now for our Atrox horrific play of the game, brought to you by Atrox Factory. Now, this week, Rodney, it's a play that didn't turn out to be horrific for Alabama because they overcame it, but it was horrific at the time, and that was Jake Coker's interception late in the second quarter. Alabama's dominating the game, but only up 3-0, and a high throw into coverage leads to a really bad result.
Yeah, it does, and the personal foul tacked on the end of that, Gary's set up Arkansas. This probably should have been a shutout game, but it was a play like that allowed Arkansas to get on the board and take the lead in a game that really they didn't have any business leading.
It's our Atrox horrific play of the game. Fortunately for Alabama, the Tide was able to overcome it. Atrox Factory is the largest indoor haunted attraction in the Southeast, located in Leeds. 40,000 square feet of mind-numbing terror, over 1/4 mile of twisted hallways and shocking surprises. So make sure you check it out this Halloween season. Well, let's talk some recruiting. Rodney, the Tide picking up a quarterback over the weekend for the class of 2017, a commitment from Jake Fromm from Houston County High School over there in central Georgia, a hotbed for high school football. And Fromm is a guy that's 6'3", about 215, pro-style quarterback, but a good athlete at the same time. And the fact that Alabama took his commitment so early shows you how much they like this young man.
Highly unusual that Alabama takes a quarterback without seeing him in camp before his senior year. Usually it's between his junior and senior year, that camp there that they, the summer before his senior year, where they make their decision on which quarterback take. That tells you a lot about Jake Fromm. Gary's got a really strong arm. He's got really good size. He's a guy that's been playing a lot. He's played since he's a freshman in high school. He's rang up some big numbers. Now, this year, he's not quite. He's thrown for 1,500 yards through about 6 games. A lot of that's because they're really running the ball well, but he's an outstanding talent.
Feature story on your site, TiderInsider.com, today by Lee Richards, has his high school coach talking about, how smart he is, how well he knows the game. I mean, this is a guy that's a student of the game.
Yeah, he is, Gary. You can tell the way he manages. He's very comfortable there, even under pressure. He waits to the last minute to deliver the ball. He's very confident in that offense. There, you see him right there. He was getting ready to get hammered. He stood in there, made the throw, and you see the result.
So a quarterback in the class of 2017, Jake Fromm from Houston County High School over there in Central Georgia. All right, Rodney, time to look ahead to this week's game as the Tide travels to College Station to take on the Aggies. Alabama is about a 4-point favorite in this game, even though they're on the road, and A&M is unbeaten. Of course, last year, 59-0 here in Tuscaloosa, but this is an entirely different A&M team. They're more mature on offense. Defensively, they got John Chavis coordinating them, much more aggressive, much more sound, and they've had a bye week, so they're sitting pretty going into this game.
They really are. They're very talented. Don't be confused or misled by that 59-0 last year. This Texas A&M team really talented. They've got a really good quarterback in Kyle Allen. They've got some outstanding receivers. They've even got a little bit of a running game this year, Gary, with Trey Carson, who's averaging close to 100 yards a game on the ground. But they really like to light it up through the air. They've got 4 receivers. They've got a fantastic freshman who is a wide receiver by the name of Christian Kirk. He also returns kicks. He's got 958 all-purpose yards in his first 5 games as a collegian. That's phenomenal. There you see Carson running the ball there. But again, they've got some tremendous wide receivers. Josh Reynolds, Ricky Seals-Jones. Speedy Noel's another guy that's got tremendous ability. He hasn't caught a pass in a couple of weeks, but he is very, very lethal with his speed. So they're outstanding offensively. Defensively, you talked about them, Gary, in terms of John Chavis, the new defensive coordinator, and what they bring. They've got 2 of the best pass rushing defensive ends in the country. Miles Garrett as well as Deshaun Hall. Those 2 guys, Deshaun Hall has 5 sacks and Garrett has 7.5. They're really terrors coming off the edge. They're going to be 2 guys that Alabama's going to have to block.
Later on, we'll have our predictions on that game. And I'm telling you what, every way you look at this one, it seems like it's going to be a really close fourth quarter game. Well, coming up next, we'll be taking your phone calls, answering your emails, and looking at your tweets. Again, the information posted there on the screen on how you can get in touch with us. Give us a call at 205-348-WVUA. That's 348-9882. Email us if you would like at TITV@WVUA23.com, or you can tweet at us using the hashtag TITV. We'll be right back with more Tider Insider TV right after this timeout. It's not Alabama news, but it's of interest to Alabama fans. The head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, officially called it quits on Tuesday, resigning after 10.5 years as the head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks. What's interesting is he is quitting in the middle of the season. Gamecocks are 2-4 overall, 0-4 in the SEC. Spurrier has never had a losing season as USC's coach, and the team has been bowl eligible in all 10 of his full seasons. He is 86-49 overall at Carolina, making him the winningest coach in school history. Sean Elliott, the co-offensive coordinator, has been named the interim head coach. Your thoughts on Steve Spurrier stepping away? The timing of it seems strange to me.
It really is. It's would not have expected that. I would at least think he would have finished out this season.
I think he knew he had some more losses on the docket, including one probably to Dabo Swinney and Clemson that he didn't want to take at the end of the season. But certainly transition time in South Carolina. All right, ready to take some phone calls?
Sure.
Let's do it. Let's lead off with Tommy over in Talladega. Hey, Tommy, how are you?
Pretty good. How y'all?
Very well, my friend.
Last year about this time, I talked to Rodney about our place kicker.
Right.
He said that he had some back problems. Well, don't we have a second-string place kicker?
Well, Tommy, first of all, the second-string kicker last year and this year was Gunnar Rayburn. He was suspended. I'm not sure if he's officially back yet on the team, but he was suspended earlier this year. And J.K. Scott, the punter, has handled some of the kicking chores too, or he could. He was certainly a pretty good high school kicker, but at this time, I wouldn't expect that to happen. I still think that Adam Griffith will continue to kick.
Yeah, Ronnie, I want to say this to Tommy and to the fans. I know a lot of people are frustrated. It's frustrating watching him miss short field goals like he did the other night, not to mention a 47-yarder, which he should be able to make. He is right around a 50% mark for the season, which is not good. But I honestly believe, Tommy, that he's the best they've got. Now, if you want to say they haven't done a good job of letting kickers walk on or whatever, but I think he's their best kicker. That's why they keep running him out there.
Well, I know people get frustrated with this comment that I've made, and I agree with Coach Saban on this completely. This guy is has major leg talent. There's no doubt about it. And I think he seemed to be getting back into the groove, and he had a difficult time on Saturday night. He was 2 of 4. But if he can ever get back in the groove, I think he certainly is a top-notch place kicker.
All right, maybe he will. May need him somewhere along the line to win a game. All right, let's stay here in Tuscaloosa and talk to BT. Hey, BT, what's going on?
Not much, Gary. Ronnie, how about y'all?
Very well. What you got for us, BT?
I want to talk about the first quarter offense. You know, it seemed like we're getting, you know, about this, you know, getting, now, you know, Gary, about, you know, on, you know, on offense.
BT, I know I appreciate it. We see your question there. They're working to get better on offense. They're not going to reinvent the wheel 6 games into the season. They are what they are. They've got Coker at quarterback. They've got their running backs, their wide receivers. They're just going to keep working. I think try to be a ball control offense that wears down the defense, and I think they can do that.
Well, I think the best thing they could do, the one thing they could do, BT, to improve the offense is line up and block people. I mean, I think that certainly is the thing to do that you have to do to be successful running the football, which is what you said they should do, and that's certainly been the goal, to get more physical and kind of play Alabama football. And I think they have to line up and block people and give the running backs opportunities to make plays. And certainly you've got to protect Jake Coker, the quarterback.
All right, we've got some people on the line. We're going to get to you. We have to take a break here on the show. More phone calls and emails when we return here on TITV. Again, there's the information on the screen on how you can get in touch with us. We'll be back with more phone calls right after this on TITV. Welcome back to Tider Insider Television alongside Rodney Orr. I'm Gary Harris, and we go back to the phone lines now. We'll talk with CB here in T-Town. What's up, CB?
Don't know it, man. How y'all doing? Is our offensive line, if we got some people hurt, or are we going to stand up? Because we got some tough games going, and sometime we have some breakdowns. I heard we had an injury or two. Do you think we're going to be able to withstand and get with the program and go on and beat these teams down?
Well, CB, I do think Cam Robinson's banged up at left tackle. No doubt about it. He's not playing at 100%. Having said that, he is out there. He's going to be out there. He's expected to play at a certain level. I'll be honest with you, Rodney. I'm a little disappointed in the offensive line this year. Not that they've been terrible. I'm not saying that. But I thought they had a chance to be a really, really, dominant unit. Has not happened to this point. They've had flashes. But I think CB's right. They need to get better. They need to improve and play at a higher level than they've been playing
no
at.
doubt. I think it's a fair assessment to say you're a little bit disappointed. But at the same time, CB, they have 3 new guys in the offensive line. They have a redshirt freshman at left guard and Ross Pierce-Baker. They have Alphonse Taylor. This is his first year as a starter at right guard. Dominic Jackson at right tackle. Again, that's not an excuse.
But it's the truth.
You mentioned Cam Robinson. Sometimes it takes a while for these guys to develop a cohesiveness, and they haven't been bad all season. I mean, they were pretty good against Georgia.
And I thought Ryan Kelly, the senior center, the veteran, the leader of that offensive line, struggled against Arkansas. I watched him, and Coach Saban says everybody watches the ball. Well, I was watching Ryan Kelly some. Not his best game. I thought he got handled quite a few times up front.
Well, and again, I think sometimes when you're playing next to a young guy, that can certainly impact. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened with Kelly, but, he's playing with 2 new guards next to him. Sometimes the communication isn't what it maybe would have been, possibly even last year. So that can certainly impact the way one player plays.
Yeah, I think they're capable of playing better, and I hope that they will. That's Mario Cristobal's job to see to it that they do. All right, let's go to Carbon Hill and talk to Joe. Hey, Joe, welcome into TITV.
How you doing, Gary? You and Rodney, y'all short.
We're well, Joe. What you got for us tonight?
Oh, I probably shouldn't mention this, but what is anything just calling in on? I heard a call in today on Jock Station about that we was losing our offensive coordinator this year on account of affair going on.
Joe, I don't know about that.
Is that proper?
I'll say this. I think Coach Kiffin is the offensive coordinator here. Whatever is going on off the field, if there is anything, I trust Coach Saban to handle that program, and I think Coach Kiffin's done a good job. I think the offense does need to improve. I think they're a work in progress, but I don't know about any of that stuff. You know, he's the offensive coordinator right now. Whether or not he'll be back next year, well, you can always say that for any assistant coach or any head coach for that matter. We'll just have to wait and see. But he's the guy right now calling the shots on offense, and just like everybody else in the program, they're trying to do the best job they can.
He's got a new quarterback. He doesn't have Amari Cooper. He's got 9 total new offensive starters. He's got 3 new offensive linemen. He's got a whole new core of wide receivers. He probably lost his best playmaker at wide receiver, at least at the beginning of the year, with Robert Foster. So certainly he's, you know, kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see how they kind of progress moving forward.
You know, and we did see against Georgia that this offense is capable of, I wouldn't say it was a dominant performance, but they controlled that game. They did it against Wisconsin, too. I think the best still could be in front of this offense. Let's take an email, Rodney. And this one comes to us from Bama Jack. Do you agree that the game play calling against Georgia was the best Kiffin has planned, executed since the Iron Bowl last year? Well, I'll tell you this, Bama Jack, and Rodney can chime in quickly. When things go well, it always looks like the game plan is good. I think they've had some other good game plans that maybe they didn't perform or execute as well, but I think he's done a good job of calling plays since he's been here.
Yeah, and I think the Wisconsin game was pretty good too. So I think for the most part, you know, they've done okay. Again, I think with all the new personnel, it makes things difficult. You're talking about a new quarterback. We talked about all those new players, so it takes a while.
All right, thanks for the phone calls and emails. We'll be back right after this. It's prediction time. Stay with us here on TITV. Predictions in just a moment, but first, original elephant wear. We've got it on again tonight. Dress shirts from the Locker Room, located on the University Strip in Tuscaloosa, a T-Town tradition since 1964. Alex, Rush, and the rest of the staff are courteous, and they can hook you up with this great locker room wear or any of their other fine menswear. And remember, they've got ladies wear as well. It's the Locker Room in Tuscaloosa, University of Alabama, and Tuscaloosa tradition since 1964. Real quickly, your prediction, Alabama and A&M.
Well, you know, Gary, I look at this. Alabama really needs to get off to a good start because A&M is a hot starting team. And I think that if Alabama can go in, set the tempo early with the running game, kind of control the clock, keep A&M's offense off the field, I think Alabama's got a really good shot here. I think they can run the ball on Texas A&M, Alabama 28-20.
I'm right there with you. I agree, Rodney. I think that Alabama's got to keep the score down to win. They don't want to get in a shootout against A&M. I think they will. I like the Tide to win a tough game, 24-17 over the Aggies. That's going to do it for TITV. For Rodney Orr, I'm Gary Harris. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.